Hi Aquarius, welcome to your March 2018 love reading. It's Raina here. You know, it's kind of funny because I had to stop this recording and I left the spread on the table to come back to it and start all over again. And I just absentmindedly collected the cards like I was getting ready for the next reading, completely forgetting that I had laid out the spread. So, oh well, easy come, easy go. I guess it wasn't meant to be, right? So let's see what this time the reading talks about. Okay. The plot thickens here. Let me see. Okay. So what we're looking at here, this is the heart of the matter, and we have the Ace of Swords. So this is kind of like summing everything up in one card. Ace of Swords, new beginnings, but this is also a card of clarity, of really like maybe you were unsure about something and now you know how to begin again because you have the knowledge of what really happened. Now, this may have been in a prior relationship that you maybe hung on to too long because you were creating a false narrative about what was really going on and not seeing things as they are. This is about seeing things as they really are. It's also about new beginnings. Of course, you are swords. You are one of the swords. You're an air sign. The other air signs are Libra and Aquarius. I mean, Libra and Gemini. And there's definitely the possibility, because we did get in the outcome the Justice card, which connects to Libra, that Libra might be the swords if this is not you, or if this is the other person. So we'll get there. Let's look at what happened in the past. Page of Cups. This is a card associated with Pisces. Now, actually, this the Moon card is associated with Pisces too. So, was there a Pisces in your life, or is this a facet of you, Aquarius, where you played for a fool? Again, with the creating an alternative narrative, did you choose to stick your head in the sand about something, or did you just not listen when people try to tell you about somebody, or you even could tell something about a person that you were seeing and you could tell that something was going on, but you still refused to act on it or acknowledge it fully? And I can fill in the blanks if that happened to you, because you may have suffered as a result. Because when I see the Ace of Swords, I see somebody that is seeing things a lot more clearly than you were in the past. You might have wanted to see things a certain way. You may have been very sympathetic to someone else's plight and allowed that to color your judgment, and that created problems. So if that was the case, it's all about learning how to sympathize, but not necessarily take it to the next level and fall in love with somebody that has a lot of problems. Your Venus could very well be in Pisces, and that would make a lot of sense if if that's exactly what you did. If you just fell in love with somebody that, who knows, maybe they deceived you, because right here, for the current situation, we have the Moon card. There may still be things that you have yet to find out about that situation. I didn't think about this at first, but this almost suggests that you're still with that person on some level. So maybe it's a marital partner, and that's where the Justice card comes in. And you still are, you may see the truth. Maybe it had to smack you in the face in some way and make you see it. And you can't deny it anymore. But it's still possible that you have feelings for someone who is deceptive towards you. They may have mental illness or addiction issues. The Moon card can represent someone who is mentally unstable, and I would even say bipolar, because of the nature of what bipolar means, where they're going through different phases all the time. And so the moon is about changing, and somebody who's bipolar. And the reason that bipolar people can be confusing is that if you catch them on the right day, they can seem like, oh yeah, you know, this person, oh yeah, they had their moments and stuff, but now they're really together. And then they have another episode, and it's back into that hellacious cycle again. And so if you have been dealing with somebody like that, then there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of unpredictability with somebody like that. And it's sad, because they may be great people otherwise. And the other thing too is with addictions, sometimes people who have bipolar, they're not always using. It's only when they're depressed, or maybe when they're manic. I don't know. I don't know everything about bipolar, but from what I understand, there's periods of time that they may self-medicate, and then if you catch them at the right time, you may think that they have solved their problem. And it can feel very disappointing when they go back to it. One of the things too that I notice when people get involved with others who have mental instability or addiction, which you know, in a way you could say is a form of mental instability, emotional instability, is that they may blame themselves, and it may go back to their childhoods, where they may have had a parent who had an emotional disorder, an addiction, and so don't get caught in those cycles where you know, the Page of Cups is also, pages are children, so it's almost like becoming like a child again, and you may get triggered into your childhood patterns where you feel responsible for somebody else's problems, and that's why you're with this person. And then once you get with them, then you feel like, oh, I can't leave them now, they have this terrible problem. So it's like catch 52 or catch whatever 52 or whatever it is. I don't know. Knight of Swords is the higher message, and this is a card that's connected to the law profession. So if you're with someone who is a spouse, you may be toying with the idea of consulting a lawyer, but this is actually, as a spiritual message, I would say it's telling you, yes, it's time, because you cannot change the other person. You cannot heal that other person of their wounds. Staying with this person isn't helping them get better. It may not be making them get worse, but it's not making them get better. The other thing about this card, if we look at this person's personality, this could be someone who really has a set of beliefs. They really believe in things, but they may get out of control with this, where they're like a zealot. And, you know, for instance, some people are political junkies, but then some people take it to the next level where they become totally obsessed with it, and everything in life is somehow connected to politics. And they can't stop talking about it, and they may get involved with activism where it is an obsession rather than just going out and trying to help their country or their, you know, whatever group they belong to. So, again, this person may be, they may exaggerate things in their life. This has a fiery energy to it too. A knight is a fiery energy, and then you have the air together. So the person may be on some kind of a soapbox about their particular issues in life, and it may wear you down because you feel like they are always fighting some battle, and you just want peace. Aquarians are, you know, it's interesting about Aquarius. They're always talking about, everyone thinks Aquarians are so detached and everything like that. And that's true, but even something that's positive, like someone who has passions in life, an Aquarius person may feel like, oh boy, this person's like a little bit too obsessed. And they may still feel like, whoa, you know, who is this person? What are they all about? Because anything that is excessive emotion may kind of freak out an Aquarian. It just may seem like too much, no matter what. So for instance, fire sign individuals, if this person is a fire sign and maybe they have some air, like a rising sign, air sign, they may be a little bit too much for the Aquarius in general. So Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries person, that person may kind of burn out the Aquarian in some way. By the way, your opposite sign is Leo, so sometimes, you know, karmically or what have you, you end up with them. This is what crosses you. So this is the 10 of Wands, and this may indicate this fire sign individual. Now, that they're kind of burning you out. This is a card of burnout. Usually, though, this card connects with taking on a responsibility that doesn't belong to you. So I think of a codependent personality and someone who thinks that everything is their fault and therefore they have to do something. They have to be the one to do everything. And really, there's a saying you may have heard that says there are no victims, only volunteers. And sometimes I think that to myself, because sometimes people volunteer for their victimhood and nobody's forcing them to take responsibility for another person's life, but they choose to do it because it feels familiar to them in some way. Or maybe they're trying to be that saint. Maybe they have like some kind of saint complex, and they're trying to be a good person and not realize that sometimes it crosses over into enabling, and then it doesn't help the other person. So here we have another fire energy. This one is actually connected to Sagittarius and Knight of Wands. Now, Knight, oh, by the way, did I say here that you may be consulting a lawyer? That's what I meant to say, that it may be time for some people to consult a lawyer. Yeah, I think I had mentioned that. This Knight of Wands this can mean different things. This can mean that somebody comes into your life and, you know, I always say a good time Charlie. Somebody who can take your mind off of your problems or tempt you to do so. Maybe you don't do it, but this person comes in. They may not be big on commitment. And so if you were to get involved with such a person, it would be a diversion, and it might even be a distraction from what you need to do. But you may just find that this person is someone that you feel drawn to because they offer a lightness, a sense of playfulness after a lot of heavy emotional stuff that you may have been going through with another person. And by the way, as I said before, that other person may be a Pisces. And for sure, if they are, or they have a strong Pisces element, they will be the kind of person who is kind of maybe emotionally needy and in some way kind of dominating emotionally. And that for an Aquarius person, that feels very oppressive usually. And this person isn't going to be like that. Now, this may be a facet of you where you feel the temptation maybe just to take off and, you know, leave your problems behind and become like love it or leave it, you know, like love them and leave them type of a person, because you may think to yourself there's no easy way out of this situation. It's going to be awkward or it's going to be painful, and I just don't know how to handle this. So maybe just like leaving is the best thing I can do. Well, I don't know. This is a general reading, so I can't say, oh yes, that's perfectly fine. But it could be considering some sort of relationship with somebody who has like a no strings attached vibe to them. The outcome is a Justice card. So this is about this sense of maybe bringing a marriage to a close and having that legal rendering. Also, looking at what you deserve in a relationship in terms of the fairness. Is this relationship, you know, did I put my energy into this? You know, yes, you probably did. And you probably put in more than you got. And you probably, if you really cared for that person, weren't keeping track, weren't keeping books of what you put into it versus what you got out. But you didn't expect to get so little. And maybe that person actually deceived you in more than one way. Maybe they're a chronic liar. And that was the final straw, because it was bad enough if they were doing other things, but then they couldn't be honest with you and you just couldn't take it anymore. Because when you're in a relationship with somebody that is telling you, sometimes people tell half-truths. And so some of it's true, but some of it isn't. It's crazy making. And it just doesn't work. So it could be, by the way, too, the Knight of Wands could be a Sagittarian coming into your life. Doesn't have to be like a player necessarily. They will have that sense of freedom, like a freewheeling attitude that you find irresistible attached to them, and makes you see the contrast between that kind of a vibe and what you've been dealing with, which may have dragged you down emotionally. So that could be that you end up with somebody who is a Sagittarius after all. Okay, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like a private reading, private love reading, or any other type of reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great March. Bye.